Inspirations, and this is the third of a four-part series. Dr. Karen Helfner could not be here today, so I have a co-host, and this is Jimmy. Jimmy is one of our clients and teenagers here at Inspirations. He's been here for a minute, so I thought it would be great to hear from a teenager what he thinks about Inspirations and the journey that he's been on. And he said he'd like to be in a video and talk about what he's been doing. So, Jimmy?
I'm glad to be here.
All right.
I'm Jimmy, I'm 17, and I've really grown fond of this program. It was really hard for me at first, being thousands of miles away from my family, you know what I mean, and like not knowing my future or my outcome of what's gonna happen. But I've really grown to appreciate the program, appreciate Chris and Karen Walsh, really good people. I'm really thankful to have had the opportunity to come here and to have the experience of being an Inspirations. It's really helped me out a lot.
Great. Well, I'm really happy to hear that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm really happy that we could be here to help you get where you want to go in life. I want to know, so that we can share with everyone else, what was going on when you came in? Like, what drugs were you doing, and what was going on with you personally that brought you here?
Well, I had really bad anger issues, and I really struggled with cocaine addiction really badly, and I really couldn't get through a day without wanting to fight or get really angry or use a lot of cocaine. So that's what ended up leading me to make some bad choices, to get into some legal trouble, in which case led me to come to Inspirations to appear better in court and to change as a person.
Okay.
Just to make steps in my life to be a better person for me and my girl, Kayleen, and my parents, my dad, my mom, everyone at home counting on me, you know what I mean?
Well, cocaine, that's not something you hear all the time with teenagers. You know, you hear that they're drinking, they're smoking weed, maybe they got into their parents like Percocets, and then if it goes beyond that, then we hear about other drugs. So what was it? How did you get involved with using coke? Because you're pretty young, you know,
I just
17.
like doing coke.
All right.
I just like it.
Became part of what was going on in your crowd.
Yeah,
and people that you know.
I moved to California with my dad in 2016, and before that in 2014 when my grandma died, I was 13 or 14 years old at that time, and that's when I first ever tried cocaine, but it was like poor quality cocaine. Right. It was like 50 meth, 50 coke.
Oh wow.
But then when I went to California, I experienced really good cocaine, like good quality cocaine. And then ever since then, I was just like, I'm not living without this.
That's it. That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, we know that drugs are a part of communities. So in certain areas in the country, you'll find that meth, you know, is more popular, or coke is more popular, or Percocets or opiates are more popular. And then you get into heroin and IV heroin, and that's more popular in other areas. So for you, that just happened to be the drug of choice that took off for you, resonated with you. So now what do you think? You've been in the program and you hear about being sober and making different choices in life. Where are you with using drugs, and especially with coke?
I'm at a point now where I no longer have any aspiration to use any drugs. I don't find tobacco or alcohol or like marijuana, I don't see those things as drugs to me, because they weren't a derivative factor in my life, if that makes sense. They were never something that like I wouldn't wake up without thinking about, or I wouldn't go to sleep without needing it. You know what I'm saying?
So they're drugs, but they're not your drugs of choice.
No,
and they're
exactly.
not something you would
they're
turn
not
to.
something that would deprive my life, if that makes sense, or make me do things that I wouldn't normally do to get it or have more.
To get high, yeah.
But it was at a point where I really love the girl that I'm with. I really love my family, and I really care about her a lot. And that was the main factor that made me want to stop using, to like have a life with her.
Yeah, that's great. So, you know, 17 is so young, and even though 17 is young, there's still some serious life issues that go on with teenagers. And to hear Jimmy talk about where he was, and he's only giving us a little bit of a glimpse into his life right now because we don't have a lot of time to go into everything. But I think that everyone can see that, you know, teenagers do have struggles, they do have challenges, and for a 17-year-old to overcome a cocaine addiction and to be in a program and to decide that being sober is better is a huge, monumental leap for preparing him for a better future. So before we wrap it up, I want to ask you one question here. Where do you see yourself going now? You're going to leave our program soon. What is your life going to look like? What do you want to do?
In my future, I want to marry my girlfriend, I want to have a son, and I want to open my own business, similar to Mr. Walsh, if you will.
Great.
Like, I want to open up my own, like, manufacturing and trading business, not like a rehab facility, but like a manufacturing,
your own business, like you're an entrepreneur.
Business. Yeah, an entrepreneurship, and go to college and
Awesome.
get a degree.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for being part of the live video. And
Thank you for letting me be in it.
you're welcome. Give me a hug.
Thank you.
Oh, all right, great. Bye.